Here are the top 5 in the stepladder finals. Charlie Lacey, 6-year pro championship round appearance. Jeff Bellinger finished second here in '82. Mike Aulby, a winner in Indianapolis last Saturday, goes for 2 in a row. Gary Skidmore tries to become the first 3-time winner on tour this year. And Guppy Troup goes for his 7th PBA title here this afternoon. And hello, everybody. Jay Randolph along with Hall of Famer Earl Anthony. Got an interesting fivesome here today. We expect some exciting action, and we have a special incentive. $100,000 from True Value if someone rolls a perfect game.
And we do have the player that's done that more often than anybody else in the tour in 1 year, and Guppy Troup. He set the record. Let's get into the first match and see if he can do it right now, Jay.
And it'll be Guppy Troup going against Gary Skidmore in this first match. Been an interesting week here, Earl. The lane surfaces are something you'll want to talk about.
They are. They're a little difficult, Jay. The players have had to make tremendous adjustments as they went from pair to pair. The championship pair has scored well. Most of the players have done quite well on that pair. The problem is that the head area, the first part of the lane, the first 16 feet of the lane, is very rough. And by it being rough, it creates a lot of friction. The players are having trouble getting the ball to skid far enough on the lane to keep it in play.
Well, there's gorgeous Guppy. And he is decked out yellow and green slacks. And there are the Guppies on his shoes. If you were with us last week in Indianapolis, you saw him in action. And he opens with a strike on lane 17.
Shotmakers tournament this week. The players that are in the top 5 have all had to make tremendously good shots consistently across the house. 42 games to get to this point.
Gary Skidmore ranks 10th in earnings in 1984. And a strike for Skidmore to start things off. Skidmore, a 276 high game here last night in the position round.
Gary is one of the more stylish players on the tour. Very strong, powerful young man. Goes to the line in the conventional way. Perfect arm swing, and look at the thrust at the foul line to get the ball down the lane. Again, the first part of the lane is very dry and hooking. It takes a lot of strength and power this week to play well. There's what's happened all week long to the player that's got the ball moving a little early into the track area. The ball grips the lane immediately and goes left. We've had some very difficult spares this week. It's been really a tournament of who can make the spares the most consistently.
Skidmore leaving the 3-6-10. Converts it.
Expect to see a lot of the players shooting at things like the bucket, the washout, or the ball going high and through the middle of the head pin, leaving the 3-6-10 spares like that. It's hard to keep the ball in play in the pocket area.
Guppy Troup, his 17th career championship round appearance. The winner gets $23,000. And a split as he was a bit high with that one.
Well, Guppy knew when he let go that he hadn't got the speed and loft that he wanted on that shot. The ball gripped the lane immediately. As it touches down on the lane surface, it grips, goes immediately left, and he left the big 4. And he'll take 2. Knowing that it's almost an impossible spare to make, just take 2. Good swing, good approach. Guppy's always quick with his feet. That's his downfall. And when you do get a little quick, as I've mentioned in the past, tendency to get the ball on the lane quickly, and it breaks early. And if it breaks early, it hits the middle of the head pin.
So Troup is open in the second and down 14 pins.
There goes our 300 game right there.
Comes back with a strike. Guppy's first name is John, 34 years old. Skidmore, 30 years of age. Skidmore with a 14-pin advantage from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he leads the 7th.
And there's that strength coming in there. He's really forcing the ball down the lane. A lot of power.
Fourth year on the tour for Skidmore. He has 4 PBA titles to his credit. His 5th championship round appearance this year.
Cross lane for the 7-pin. He's a spare for Gary.
And at this point in the proceedings, Skidmore pin advantage.
Don't expect really to see big scores here today, Jay. I really expect the players to just try to keep the ball in play. In other words, the scores have been low all week. What they're trying to do is keep the ball in the pocket area so they can have makeable spares. It's difficult to hit the pocket.
And Skidmore leaves the 6-10. He's averaged 214.2 here this week.
Gary will go cross lane for the spare. He'll stand way to the left, use as much of the lane as he can to make the spare. Look at the tremendous lift and loft, but he's trying to make the ball go end over end, and it breaks a little early through the middle of the headpin. He was lucky, really, that he didn't get the split to 6-7-10. 6-10 cross lane.
All right. Skidmore with a 237.3 average on the year, 211.5 average this week. Guppy down by 11 pins. We're in the 4th. This first match. Mike Aulby waiting in the wings to play the winner of this one. And something bothered him, some noise off to the side in the stands.
Somebody dropped something over here. I think that's really not anything that an experienced player like Guppy can handle. He'll get back up there smiling and be ready to go.
And that one looked very, very good.
A good adjustment by Guppy there. Last time, as you watched earlier in the 2nd frame, he hit the middle of the headpin, got the big 4, a very difficult split. This time, his adjustment was the foul line. He lofted the ball slightly more, relaxed his wrist, and kept the ball in play.
And at the moment, Troup is down by 11 in this first match. Guppy on the TV pair at 222 average. Using 2 different balls, Earl.
As I mentioned earlier, especially cross lane. So when the players are shooting with corner pins, they tend to use a blue ball, a shiny shell ball, so they slide more for them. They want the ball to skid going across the lane. The lane surface is rough. It's hard to make it do that. So the smoother shelled ball makes it easier to make the ball skid as they go across the center of the lane.
And he gets the 10, and he is down by 12. First prize here, $23,000, $12,000 second prize. Skidmore in the lead by a dozen. He put together 9 in a row here last night.
On the same pair. He knows how to play this pair. I was talking to him a little bit earlier about what the lanes were like. He said the right lane was just a little bit different. Gary gets the foul. Watch the tremendous loft on the ball. He's throwing the ball out on the lane surface about 5 feet in the air. That's the reason for that. He wants to delay the hook, get the ball way down the lane before it grips.
And the 10-pin won't go.
Good break there. The ball gripped the lane very early again, and that's what's happening to the players all week long. The ball grips the lane early, breaks left, goes almost directly through the middle of the headpin, and he almost got the strike.
That's our overhead camera giving you that view of the action here on the PBA Fall Tour.
A lot of speed on this shot, cover the 10.
Spare in the 6 for Skidmore, and he is up by 12. A win today would make him the only 3-time winner on the tour this year.
And move him into second in money race, right behind Mark Roth, just a few $100s behind.
Player of the Year honors.
Up for grabs.
Yes,
definitely up for grabs. Let's see if Guppy can repeat his adjustment on this lane, relax the wrist, delay the roll. A little bit too much that time, Jay. Got the ball through the ball track area. He kept sliding on him. Didn't get the back end he wanted.
Guppy's a little frustrated at this point in the proceedings.
Guppy is frustrated. There's been a lot of frustration all week long here.
And a 13-point advantage for Skidmore. Next Saturday afternoon, Julie and all our crew will be at the Greater Detroit Open in Dearborn Heights, Michigan. A very special edition of a $125,000 PBA event, to be followed, of course, by the Breeders' Cup. Special start time next Saturday, 1 Eastern, 3 o'clock out in the Los Angeles area. And Guppy leaves the 4-7. He's really fighting.
Easy spare for Guppy. Again, he'll go cross lane, use lots of speed.
So, Texas, gentleman in the beard, right behind him there is Jim Llewellyn, the general manager of WKYC TV, NBC here in Cleveland. They put on the Celebrity Pro-Am here last Sunday at a great event. The Browns were on hand. Skidmore plus 15. And a strike for Skidmore in the 8th.
A lot of power, a lot of loft. Not, when I say power, I don't mean rotation on the ball. I don't mean lift on the ball. I mean he's throwing that ball, actually throwing it down the lane. He's just forcing it through that hooking area of the lane, making it stay on line. That's strength. Gary can throw the ball harder than most of the players on the tour, and I think that's going to be a big advantage for him on this lane surface today.
2 in a row. And a 25-pin lead now for Skidmore. You'll see another fellow has a lot of power in a few minutes, Mr. Bellinger.
That seemed to be the key this week. The guys that can throw it hard really force it down the lane.
Great pin action there. Troup in a lot of trouble. All right, Guppy.
He finally got lined up on the right-hand lane. He's been bowling well on the left lane. He struck twice on that lane. There's an he has to have a strike here really to stay in the match. The key was for him to strike on lane 18. He's made the adjustment. He's been high. He's been light. This time he gets it where he wants it. The ball holds a line for him, goes long down the lane, breaks in at the right angle to strike, and all 10 pins in the pit. Must strike, must strike.
Yeah, and he knew he didn't have it, Earl.
He sure did, and he's upset. Guppy struggled last week, finished 5th, struggling this week. This has been a typical shot all week. The ball coming in way late, or through the nose, one or the other.
Almost converted that spare. So Troup through 9 is 150. Or is in very fine shape with a 37-pin lead. And that'll do it here.
That'll do it. This match is over, and I think that at this point, Gary Skidmore is going to create a lot of problems for the rest of the field.
Skidmore will be meeting a very talented performer, Mike Aulby, coming off that big win in Indianapolis before his home folks last week.
The only left-hander in the field. Really bowling well.
Skidmore warming up. That's a 4-bagger for Skidmore. We'll be back with more action from here in Fairview Park, Ohio, right after these messages. 70, he'll be going against Mike Aulby. And I think, Earl, we can safely say that this match coming up, we have 2 of the hottest bowlers on tour right now.
Right, we had a hot one in Guppy Troup. He's had trouble both weeks in a row, finishing 5th, but Mike Aulby is just unbelievable. He's bowling so well, and he's so confident in his ability to throw the ball well. And Gary, we saw what Gary can do. It should be great.
And both of these gentlemen have an opportunity for the 170, and Skidmore moving on to go against Mike Aulby. A reminder coming up later, NBC Sports World, the WBC lightweight champion Edwin Rosario fights Jose Luis Ramirez. That's live from Puerto Rico. And you won't want to miss the long-awaited rematch of the top lightweights in a battle for the WBC championship next on NBC Sports World. Earl, you also have a little bowling action coming up on Sports World later.
Yeah, a little bit. One of the most exciting events I've ever witnessed.
The High Rollers. Here's Mike Aulby.
Mike again in that unique position of being the only left-hander in the top 5. Qualifying 3rd spot. The lane should change very little for Mike as he goes throughout the afternoon here bowling, as opposed to the right-handers who have a lot more traffic on their side of the lane. The lanes will change drastically for them because the oil will carry down the lane.
He starts things off with a spare. Just did get it. Last week, Aulby a winner in Indianapolis, and we get a look at some of the reactions from last Saturday afternoon for this gentleman who won $18,000 before the home crowd in Indianapolis. There's his wife, Tammy.
Mike is definitely blossoming into one of the finest players on the tour, right or left-handed.
Skidmore comes up short. And he's left the 1, 2, 4, 10.
Very common leave this week. It's not unique to see that.
Skidmore's wife, Sherry.
Speed. They'll try to send the 1 pin across and take out the 10.
Nice going for Skidmore. Some of the crowd looking in here this afternoon with you across the country. And Fairview Park, Ohio, the suburb of Cleveland, just on the west side. Skidmore is a voice major at New Mexico State University. I'm told he's a baritone.
He's got a beautiful voice. Doesn't sing much anymore. I don't know, maybe singing to those pins helps a little bit. I never tried that.
Never tried that, huh? The left-hander from Indianapolis is 5'8", 145 pounds. This week he's averaged 212 here, his 6th year on the tour. Fine young man, and Earl, I think it's safe to say that most people think this fellow's going to be a superstar on tour.
I think so too, and he's a superstar off the tour also, Jay, as you mentioned, because he spends a lot of time doing things for the kids in Indianapolis, which I think is really, really nice.
And I'll look at our score up to date and move along. Skidmore, 63% pocket hits in the first game. He was 6 of 7 in the strike department. Aulby looking for his 6th PBA title. He won number 5 last week. And, of course, don't forget our championship match today in its entirety without any interruptions. So many of you around the country have said you enjoy it that way, and that's the way we're happy to bring it to you. Skidmore was a little high.
The natural reaction or adjustment, even sometimes when the player doesn't make a physical adjustment on the lane or the approach, because of the shot previously when he left the washout, mentally he's thinking, I don't want to leave that washout, and he helps it a little bit at the foul line. Ball hooks early, there it goes.
All right, Skidmore picks it up. If you're just joining us along the NBC network, it was Skidmore winning over Guppy Troup, 223 to 170 in match 1, and now we're in the 4th frame here. We're down 10 to the left-hander Mike Aulby. Joe Antonora on the left there a moment ago, the commissioner of the PBA Tour, watching this afternoon. Could tell he was going to have a problem there.
Gary made an adjustment on the left-hand lane. I don't know why. He had struck there previously, but he did definitely make a move on the lane. He moved more toward the center of the lane to catch the track farther down, or in other words, he's trying to make the ball skid more by using the center of the lane. Not a play on words there.
No. And he took the 2, 6-10. So here in this second match, and the left-hander has a turkey.
Mike's playing almost the exact same line he played last week in Indianapolis when he won the event there between the second and third arrow.
There again is Joe Antonora, just on the left of your screen, the commissioner of the PBA Tour from Akron, Ohio. Gentleman who's done so much for the PBA Tour and professional bowling across this country. Aulby in the 5th. Yes.
Looks just like last week. It's the way he started last week, and he was unbeatable. Again, Mike is playing basically the same line he played last week between the second and third arrows, trying to get the ball to go long, not hook it too much, let the lane bring it in for him. The ball's entering the pocket at the perfect strike angle.
Coming up with a strike. His wife, Sherry. The noise you hear in the background is Bellinger loosening up way down to our right.
Gary has to get it going very quickly here to get back in the match. He knows that.
Left the 10.
Left the 10, and at this point, with the lead that Mike Aulby has, Mike's going to start thinking about the next match pretty quick.
There's Bellinger. He's been warming up, as we mentioned, down to this lane. Very intense competitor and an exciting gentleman to watch.
Very good athlete.
The spare for Skidmore and the lead of 44 for Aulby. Earl, you remember when this fella came out as a rookie, he beat you for the PBA National Championship in '79.
I'm trying to forget things like that, Jay. I wish you wouldn't keep bringing that up.
Well, obviously, you realize then he had some talent.
He sure does, and it's getting better.
He's the 6'10" here.
Michael is one of the best young left-handers to come out in the tour in many years. What makes him better than most is his ability to play different shots. He can play almost anywhere on the surface of the lane and make the ball react. Based on what the lanes will let him do, he'll play there, whether it be the first board or the 5th arrow. It doesn't make any difference. And that's a big edge over most of the other lefties, the ability to play all of the shots.
Ooh. He's happy to get away with that one.
It's straightened out a little bit on the back, and the reason it'll do is the right-handers going on their side of the lane. If their ball carries oil down the lane, as that happens, it'll stop Mike's ball from hooking coming across toward the 10 pin.
And a strike in the 7th for Aulby. He's in the lead over Skidmore. The 3rd stop on the fall PBA Tour for NBC Sports. Happy to have you with us. Skidmore down 42. And it just didn't get there as he's left the 1-2-4.
And I really thought the way he bowled in the first match against Guppy Troup that he would come out here and really be tough to beat. But Aulby's put a lot of pressure on him early in the match, going spare 4-bagger. And now he's on another strike in the 7th. He's running out of frames here today, and doesn't look too good right now for Gary Skidmore.
You know, a win today would have given Skidmore the honor of being the only 3-time winner on the tour this year.
That's right. Gary is definitely in running for the Bowler of the Year honors.
And he's left the 6-10, and Skidmore is in deep trouble here in this second match.
It's never over till the last ball's thrown, Jay, and we both know that, and so does everybody else. But still, it's getting really in trouble right now at this point for Gary Skidmore. Mike Aulby has had a good year all the way around, but going into the fall tour, he's been bowling just tremendously well. And earlier today, I had a chance to talk to Mike about why he's doing so, and this is what he had to say.
Differently this fall, I've decided to take advantage of my situations. I've decided not to sit back and let things come to me. I'm going out after them and becoming much more aggressive.
And he sure looks it out there today, Jay. He's really rolling the ball well, just like he did last week in Indianapolis.
6 spares in this match for Aulby, or 6 strikes, I should say, 2 spares, and a 57-pin lead.
Mike really only needs 1 mark in either of the last 2 frames, and he's a winner at this point, and I think Mike is pretty confident he can handle that.
He's really looking good. Last week was his 5th PBA win, but his first in nearly 3 years. And he is really rolling well at the moment.
The guy coming up, Jeff Bellinger. Very tough match.
Skidmore with an adjustment there comes up with a strike in the 9th. He's down 67 pins.
Bowling for pride now, Jay. He's just out there trying to come up with a decent score, something that all the bowlers do at this point. They just want to go out there and show you they can still throw strikes, even though it won't be enough to win.
He has a possible 201. Aulby with a possible 268, so. You know, the folks at home might wonder how, Skidmore looks so strong in match 1, and all of a sudden, Aulby steps to the line against him, and it changed.
Yeah, I really don't think the fact that he's bowling like Aulby changed the way he finished quite as strongly. He's trying to make adjustments. He doesn't get the reaction he wants. Problems.
Our good friend Ed Langto, the of True Value, great sportsman. As we mentioned, Aulby with a possible 268 and a score of 180 for Skidmore. So it's Aulby moving on, and he'll be going against Bellinger. And this one is shaping up as a dandy here this afternoon.
Better scores than I expected, Jay. I really didn't think the players could shoot the big score on the way the land condition is. Mike Aulby's proved me wrong.
He leaves the 7. The big guy from South Carolina, and right behind him you see Charlie Lacey. What a story Lacey is. His first championship round appearance ever. Those two off to the right side. Charlie Lacey will be your guest on Earl's Corner coming up a little later on. As Aulby picks up the spare. Also coming up, your 3rd step in the 7 Steps to Better Bowling, a feature here on NBC's coverage of the PBA Fall Tour. So more action coming your way. Mike Aulby against Jeff Bellinger. That's coming up. 44 to 180, and he is going against Jeff Bellinger. Nice way to start, Earl.
Just the same way he finished up, Jay.
Boy, he's in a groove, isn't he?
He is, and you'll notice that Mike Aulby started the match on the left-hand lane, which means he finishes the match on the right-hand lane. The reason that I'm bringing that up is that Jeff Bellinger, being higher in the standings to qualify for the telecast today, makes the decision whether he wants to start the match or whether he wants to be the last one to bowl, whichever way he wants to go. What he's decided to do is make Mike Aulby finish last and maybe, just maybe, not be able to make the shot under pressure.
31 years old, Jeff Bellinger from Columbia, South Carolina, the capital city of that great state.
Great arm swing. Jeff Bellinger, one of the strongest physical players on the tour. Look at the size of those arms. That's strength, lots of strength. And again, as I mentioned earlier, Gary Skidmore, Jeff Bellinger, they all throw the bar to it tremendously hard. And that's why they're on the telecast today.
Bellinger starts it with a spare. 279 was his high game here this week. And for Bellinger, an average of 194 on the TV pair. Aulby was 196.5. Fifth career championship round appearance for Jeff Bellinger. Fellow's a pretty fine, you mentioned a fine athlete, good golfer.
Outstanding golfer. I once saw him hit a golf ball standing on one leg. He hit it 280 yards. Drove the green on a short par 4. Just showing off. Arms like Popeye.
He's fighting it a little early.
This is not the way Jeff normally plays the game. Usually he likes to hook the ball tremendously. He bowls a lot like a Bob Handley or such like that. And there's that view, that really a special view of the ball going into the pin area, hooking too much, breaking to the left side. Difficult spare here for Jeff Bellinger, the 3-9-10.
That's our high camera view that we gave you a moment ago. Look at that. And now Bellinger asking tournament director Harry Golden. I think he wants the 3-pin put on spot. Bud Fisher, the PBA public relations director, alongside there.
Now, the only reason he could possibly have for having that pin respotted is if the machine itself touched the pin and moved it off spot, and that's probably what happened. If the ball made it happen, they'd have to leave it where it is. Now, what he's going to try to do is go cross lane at this spare, get the ball to fit between the 3 and the 10, and then drive through and take out the 9s. The ball really should hit all 3 pins on the spare.
Well, he's left the 10, and Bellinger is open here in the early going, and Aulby is up by 14. And those pins you just heard were being knocked down by Charlie Lacey. Sports World's coming up next. We've got boxing for you this afternoon, WBC action, and a special bowling show, High Rollers, Earl Anthony and Gary Gerald, with some exciting action there for big, big money. Now something has bothered Aulby in the back.
I didn't see what that might have been that bothered him, but he did the right thing. The important thing was to step back, collect himself, get up on the approach, take his time and make a good shot. That's experience, and that's a lot of times the rookie players will go ahead with the shot, being nervous, and make a bad shot and cost himself a lot of money.
A very poised performer, Mike Aulby, opens with strikes and is up by 24. Aulby had 8 of 11 pocket hits, carried 7 of 8 of those for an 87.5 strike percentage in his last match. And there's Mr. Lacey waiting in the wings, and this is some story. Charlie Lacey finishing first here this week.
It is. And he's so happy. A little nervous, obviously, but very, very happy to have the opportunity for his first win. Bad break. Mike Aulby threw the ball well. He thought it was going to be a strike. I thought it was going to be a strike. The 9-pin stayed there. Just one of those things. We've had some really spectacular bowling from some of the players this week on the lane surface, being as difficult as it is. He got everything to react the way he wanted to. It kicked that 7 out, but the 9-pin was just part of the furniture down there. Easy spare for Mike. Almost a pocket shot for him.
The only 300 game here this week was by Robert Morale, Flagstaff, Arizona. Morale rolled a perfect game in the final game of qualifying on Thursday. It enabled him to get into the match play of this tournament. Jeff Bellinger down by 23. Earl, it's been a long time since there's been a 300 game on national television.
There's only been 3 of them in the history of the PBA, and the last one was 10 years ago, Jay, in 1974 by Jim Stefanich in Alameda, California, and I happened to be bowling in that tournament and on television that week. Jim Stefanich beat me in the first match and then came back the second match, shot 300.
There are the 300 games that have been on television over the years of the PBA. A 10-year drought.
2 of them were bowled in California. One of them, Jack Biondo bowled in Akron, Ohio during the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Johnny Gunther bowled his in San Jose, and the other by Stefanich was in the Alameda Open near Oakland, California.
That looked like it was going to be very good, but he's left the 10-pin.
Sometimes the penalty for throwing the ball with such a great deal of speed is the pins go very, very quickly up into the air and over the back row. And this is what happened to Jeff on this shot. He was making, everything was great. The ball was, release was good. The ball entered the pins at the proper angle of strike, but watch it go right up over the top and leave the solid 10-pin.
Picks up the spare. Jeff had a 300 game this year in the Seattle Open.
Okay.
Mike Aulby, 23-pin lead.
Mike was happy with the shot. I thought he was going to get the strike. I really did. He went to the foul line well, especially after waiting through the commercial break to come back, make a good shot like this. The ball's breaking very sharply on the back. Leaves a solid 6-pin. Mike will go across lane from the left side, across the center of the lane, make the spare. Shouldn't have any problem at all with this. He's got to watch that carry down on the right side. He made the adjustment a little bit there, no problem.
Aulby's just 24 years old. He is 14th on the tour in money winning this year, better than 69,000. 22-pin lead for Mike Aulby.
Jeff Bellinger throws as many strikes. He's like a Bob Hanley, as I mentioned earlier. He's very capable of stringing strikes. Tremendously powerful release, a lot of strength. He can overpower the lane surface. Mike knows what Jeff is capable of, and Mike doesn't want to let him get it back into this match. He knows 22 pins is not enough at this point. This is the spare. It's called the baby split. For Mike, it looks easy. But as the ball has to go through the center of that lane surface again, as I mentioned before, it's very dry. Watch the ball break sharply, and you'll leave just the 2 and the 7, but it's not an easy spare this week. In most cases, Mike would make this 9 out of 10 times probably. But on this surface, it's not easy. He's going to try to fit the ball between the 2 pins. Let the ball take out both.
He did it.
He did it. And you could see by his reaction, he was very happy with that. He knew it wasn't an easy shot.
Earl Bellinger has been hot the last couple of weeks. And we're going to show you our overhead view.
The ball
of
hits
that.
the 2-pin, bounces into the 7. That's exactly what he wanted to do. And Mike was very happy to have that over with. He doesn't have to worry about that anymore. It's a tough shot.
Getting back to Bellinger, very hot over the last couple of weeks. He realized that there was a problem with his the finger holes in the ball, and he made a little revamping, and it's really helped him.
That plus he has changed his release for the lane condition here. He's going up the back of the ball.
That looked very good, but he's got the 10 still standing.
At the foul line, as Jeff gets the ball coming down past the sliding foot with a lot of loft, get the ball out in front, out over the foul line. Watch how he goes through the back of the ball. He's not revolving around the side like you normally would to make the ball break sharply on the back. He's trying to delay the roll, make the ball go straight for as long as possible.
Bellinger won the Association of College Unions International Tournament back in 1978. He's down 21. We're in the 6th. $23,000 first prize. The winner of this one meets Charlie Lacey, the big man from Midland, Texas.
And Jay, you'll notice that all the players on the telecast today, well, Guppy isn't that big and strong, but Mike, for a little guy, is in great shape. He's very strong. Bellinger, Gary Skidmore, Charlie Lacey, they're all big, husky guys, a lot of strength, a lot of power. They can actually throw that 16-pound ball halfway down that lane in the air if they want to. That's how they're playing the lanes today.
Strike for Bellinger. You mentioned the 16-pound ball. Some people looking in may realize, may not realize, that's the maximum.
That's the maximum weight you can use, and they're all using 16s today, and they're all getting them down there in a hurry. Watch the way he knows he threw it well. See the reaction, Jeff. He's an exciting player to watch. Very talented athlete.
279 high game here this week. Aulby up by 21.
As I mentioned earlier, the scores were a lot lower this week, and the reason for that, again, is that as they went across lanes, it was very difficult to adjust to the difference in the lane surfaces. Mike Aulby, right back in there, strike.
A big strike for Aulby in the 6th. He's been the most consistent left-handed bowler on tour this year.
Definitely has, and there are a lot of talented left-handers on the tour, and people like Johnny Petraglia, Dave Davis, Steve Cook, who is, incidentally, Mike Aulby's brother-in-law.
And that's 2 in a row for Aulby.
He's checking out that rack on lane 18. He's not real happy with the way the pins are spotted, but he's decided he's going to go ahead and take a shot at it.
He finished second here in 1982.
It's his best finish ever, and right now, being down 31 pins and on a strike, going into the 7th frame, it's almost a must situation. He has to get started now, Jay, or it's getting too late. A lot of speed.
Oh, boy. 4-7, 6-10.
Well, he was pulling for it to stop for him, but they're just not stopping down there on this lane surface. They're continuing to hook, break through the middle of the head pin. Lots of loft, lots of speed, well out on the lane surface. Hits the track area, jumps right through the middle of the head pin. Big 4, 4, 6, 7, 10. So a lot of speed. Earlier in the tournament, Jeff picked up the 8-10, what they consider another impossible split by bouncing it out of the pit. And that's what he was trying to do there with all that speed.
Well, he's open here in the 7th and in real trouble down 45.
Matches haven't been quite as close as I thought they'd be, Jay. All week long, the scores have been not great, but good, reasonable. But the matches have been very, very close.
Looks like Aulby will be going against the man from Texas, Charlie Lacey, in our championship match. $23,000 first prize, $12,000 for second. There's Charlie from Midland, Texas, and he's had quite a week here. Most exciting of his bowling career. 45-pin lead for Aulby as he steps up in the 8th.
Aulby going at about a 216 clip right now, a chance to extend his lead.
He said last Saturday, I've been waiting a long time for this one. $125,000 Indianapolis Open winner.
Chance to make it 2 in a row. Anything can happen. It's not out of the wood yet for Jeff Bellinger. Now it is.
Yeah.
Bellinger's unhappy, but I'll tell you, Mike's just making great shots, and when you get out bowled, you get out bowled. There's nothing Jeff can do. He's made good shots all the way through the match. A couple of mistakes that were very costly. Aulby just hasn't made any mistakes.
Well, Aulby is up by 55 and has this one right where he wants it in his hip pocket. And now, Earl, as you mentioned so often, he just wants to use the time left for him to stay in the groove.
He wants to feel that his timing is right, that he's playing the lanes properly. If he's unhappy with a shot on either lane, the ball reaction earlier in the match, now's the time to try something new. Try to release the ball differently or play a different angle to see if you can find something for that championship match.
Tough break there, then the 7-pin just wouldn't go for him. Aulby advancing to the title match that is coming up, and don't forget, an NBC Sports exclusive. It will be the championship match in its entirety without interruption. And of course, we have number 3 in the 7 steps to better bowling, Earl Anthony's feature that is coming right up. So it is Mike Aulby moving forward here. And of course, our good friends from Pizza Hut are happy to bring you Earl Anthony's 7 steps to better bowling. And here we go.
Pizza Hut presents 7 Steps to Better Bowling with Earl Anthony.
Last week on our 7 Steps to Better Bowling, we discussed gripping the ball properly for a good consistent release. And we also discussed starting the ball with your first step in the 4-step approach. Now remember, always walk, never run to the foul line. It's very important. When you do make your approach, what we're going to work on this week is a good slide, a good follow through, and good balance. And this is how you achieve those. As you can see, my knee is bent in the slide. My shoulders are directly over the point of my knee. My trailing foot is still on the floor for balance. And I followed through, extended to my target and up to the ceiling. Very important points in bowling, good fundamentals. And to summarize, remember, always push the ball out with your first step in the 4-step approach. Walk, don't run to the foul line, very important. Keep your trailing foot on the floor when you go into the slide position and bend the knee. Keep the shoulders directly over the point of the knee. Extend your follow-through out to your target and then directly up to the ceiling for power on the release. Next week, we'll talk about 3 different basic wrist positions that will change the roll on the ball and make it easier for you to adapt to changing lane conditions.
That was great. Oh, the old veteran Bill Beach, one of my favorites. The old barber from Sharon, Pennsylvania.
Dave Davis.
The only other left-hander to make the cut into the money, much less the top 24.
Worrell had that 300 game. Kent Wagner.
Bowling good again. Dale Eagle right back in there.
Pete McCordick's been going well. There's the youngster from Tacoma, Washington. They call him Cheesecake. Brian Voss. Jim Murdishaw. And there's my statistician. Big money this week for Larry Long.
He's buying dinner tonight, right, Jay?
Yes, sir. Sam Flanagan from my home state, Parkersburg, West Virginia. Lovely town on the Ohio River. Bobby Knipple, he's been hot.
That's right. Charlie Tapp, one of the more talented players, finally getting back up there where he belongs.
Norm Duke, just 20 years old, going good, was on our first show from San Antonio 3 weeks ago.
And a former Cleveland champion, Norm Duke.
And earlier, of course, you saw Gary Dickinson, big guy from Burleson, Texas, who was our alternate here. And Guppy Troup finishing 5th, Gary Skidmore 4th, Jeff Bellinger 3rd, and now we're getting set for the big match. Let's take a look now at what's happened today. Skidmore over Troup, 223 to 170. But then Skidmore, who looks so strong, goes down to Aulby, 244 to 180. And Aulby continuing on with the victory over Bellinger, 212 to 167. And can Aulby make it 2 in a row here this afternoon?
Well, if experience means anything, you've got to bet on Mike Aulby. This is Charlie Lacey's first television appearance. He's the tournament leader. He's going to bowl 1 game for $23,000. He's never been there before. Mike was just there last week.
You'll see this match all the way without interruption. Well, Aulby continues very much on target.
And can you hear that ball as it's going down the lane, pick up that noise, that thump, 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 thump? That's what Mike's making that ball do. It's actually catching the finger holes, so that means he's rolling the ball very much end over end to keep it from breaking sharply. He wants the ball to roll straight into the pocket.
Here's Charlie Lacey, and he has left the 3-6-10.
First shot on national television. I know he's nervous. I talked to him a little bit, and Charlie said, I'm going to bowl well. I've got confidence. Very unusual approach here, Jay. Starts in the settee area, starts walking, takes 6 steps.
Gets the spare. They call him Big C. He is from Midland, Texas, 6'1", 235 pounds.
Starts with 1 foot in the settee area, takes 6 steps after that. 4, 5, 6. And the reason he does this is he says it loosens his swing up. He doesn't want to get in the set position that most bowlers do standing on the approach. He tends to lock up his arm. He can't swing the ball free. This gives him a little more opportunity to be relaxed, and he feels that's why he's leading the tournament this week. A little short. By short, I mean he set the ball down right at the foul line. When you do that, as I've mentioned earlier, it's really hard to keep the ball on line. It tends to grip the lane, break very sharply to the left. This cross almost to the Brooklyn side, almost got a break and got the strike out of it. Cross lane for the 10 pin. Slipped a little bit up there, still covered the spare. Lost his footing for a second.
Mike Aulby set to go again. Which we look he had there, yeah. Ooh, good balance.
Not bad.
Nijinsky
a very big ballerina.
Yeah. Aulby defeating Bellinger. 16 of 21 pocket hits. Struck on 12 of 18 in his 2 matches. Oh, and Aulby.
Oh, he looks strong.
With a double.
Really looks strong. As I was mentioning earlier, he's playing almost the identical shot he played in Indianapolis last week. Going between the second and third arrows. The lanes will not change much for Mike. He can stay in that same area of the lane, won't have to make very many adjustments, and that's definitely an advantage for the left-hander. Ball enters the perfect angle to strike, 10 pins straight back. All 10 in the pit.
Aulby in this championship round averaging 228. Aulby is all right.
3 for 3. It's on a roll. When I say it's an advantage for the left-hander, what I mean by that is because the lanes don't change much, he doesn't have to make the adjustments the right-handers have to make on the other side of the lane. Good reaction. Mike got a break on the 7-pin. He didn't think he was going to strike on that one. Kicked it off the wall.
Lacey comes back with a strike. You saw his career earnings there, $9,884. He made only $605 last year. He's made about 2,211 cents this year. What has he told you in Earl's Corner when you visited with him? He's going to hang in here and see what he can do.
Yes, I think whether he wins or loses here, Charlie Lacey thinks he's found something that can make him one of the better players on the tour. He wants to go out and see if he can be a winner. Don't count this guy out, because he's very capable. A little tentative. He's setting the ball down early, and he's really not following through, and doesn't seem to have the balance that he had all throughout the tournament. And I think we have to attribute that to just being a little nervous, and which he has to be. First appearance on television. See, he lost his balance a little bit. Ball came off his hand a little bit too soon, and then it hooked through the nose.
He makes up the spare.
Difficult spares.
Aulby up by 21. I should mention that he is working on a 4-bagger. And a reminder that the $50,000 bonus to any player who rolls a 300 game in the championship round will continue for true value. Today they're kicking in another $50,000. $100,000 for a perfect game. Aulby going for 4 in a row. the 7.
Good shot. Mike was very happy with the ball when he released it, and obviously it was a very fine shot. As the ball, watch his approach, you can see that watch the balance, watch the really good fundamentals of Mike Aulby. Goes through the ball very well. A little more speed on that shot, possibly. It was a little behind the head pin. As I mentioned earlier, when it's behind the head pin, you leave the corner pins.
Well, the folks at True Value can breathe a little easier right now.
That's right.
Okay. 20-pin lead for Aulby. Mike winning last week in Indianapolis and looking very, very good here. As we mentioned, the last man to win 2 in a row was Marshall Holman. Holman did not cash here this week, and it broke a long streak for him, Earl.
It did end a tremendous long cashing streak. I think it was 22 or 23 in a row that Marshall Holman had got at least a check. He was in trouble. Oh, good break for Mike.
Yes.
Good break. That's the first shot that's really, really got away from Mike in almost a full game. He had the baby split in the middle of the last match, converted that. This could have been disaster at this point. The ball breaks early on the lane surface, cuts through the heart of the head pin. Almost the 4-6-7. Good break for Mike, easy spare, cross lane.
Aulby, who won $18,000 last Saturday afternoon, trying to get $23,000 in his pocket today.
I don't think he wants to do it like he did it last week either. I think Mike would like to get out in front and stay there and not give Charlie Lacey a chance to catch up. But I think Mr. Lacey has something to say about that.
Stay with us for Sports World. Boxing action live from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And we've got some fine bowling action coming up, too.
More balance, better shot. Best shot of the match for Charlie Lacey. Everything a little slower with his feet, a little more balance at the foul line. Got the ball out in the lane a little better. Got the solid 10-pin.
Here again is a look at the prize money. Lacey finds himself down 19 pins. This is really quite a story. Here he is, bowling for $23,000.
And a spot in next year's Firestone, and elimination from being one of the rabbits, one of those guys to have to try to qualify on Monday morning, and that's what Charlie has to do every Monday that he wants to bowl an event, is to start on Monday.
That's a tough way to go, isn't it, Earl? So an 8-pin lead for Aulby, and here comes Charlie Lacey.
Chance to take the lead. A strike here would put him in front by 2 pins.
This is the first time he has ever bowled in this event, and a strike would put him up by 2.
Here we go. He's going Brooklyn. He might get it. He did.
How about that? Oh!
Biggest break of the match of the day for any of the players. And what a time to get it, Jay. 9th frame. He was on a strike in the 8th. He did everything not the way he wanted to do it, just the opposite. He let go of the ball. He thought, oh, I'm in trouble. It crossed over. Now he's in the lead. 1 frame to play for the championship.
Charlie Lacey, a graduate at the University of Texas. His wife, Missy, looking on. He majored in accounting.
And then he knows what the score is, doesn't he?
He knows what the score is right. Yes! How about it? Charlie is very much in business here. Up by 12.
What a great shot. What a great shot in a clutch situation. First, we keep saying this, but it's so true. First time on television, first ever opportunity to bowl for a championship. $23,000. What a great shot.
Earl, this hasn't happened too many times over the years.
No, it sure hasn't.
Somebody stepping out of the woodwork like this. Aulby thinking back to that open in the 8th.
Situation, 9 and a spare. He's a tournament winner. 9 and a spare. If he strikes, it's all over. If he gets 9 spare. He wins.
There he is. Well, he's come all the way. Mike Aulby a little disgusted. You can't blame him. He was going for 2 in a row, but this is some story. Charlie Lacey winning the 1984 True Value Open, his first career PBA championship, his first ever championship round appearance. We'll be back in just a moment.
Give me a light.
Westgate Lanes, join us first in the Greater